This was a fun shoot. Yep, I got a brand new dance video for you this week, and I'm gonna share that with you. And instead of picking a certain particular subject matter to talk about, I'm just gonna do basically a director's commentary on how we got this thing made. So before I show it to you, I just want to let you know that I am going to change the music for YouTube, because if I use the original track that we choreographed to, we'll get a copyright ding on that, and we don't want that here on the YouTube. So if you want to see the original version in all of its choreographed glory with the original track, check out my Instagram and you can find it there. So before we get into it, let's check out the video first. Here we go.
Yo!
It's a wrap. She got you.
Mike, shut up.
This one was so much fun to shoot. And as you can see, we got to shoot it at a pretty dang cool location, which was a gas station. And you're probably wondering, how are you able to shoot at a gas station? And well, it was actually very, very easy. Jowaan, one of the dancers, used to be a Lyft driver. And when he used to be a Lyft driver, he would remember certain parts of Los Angeles that were a little less busy, a little less populated. And this was one of the areas that he remembered. So he was over there one night and found this gas station. And when he went there, the owner of the gas station also happened to be there at the same time he was. So he went up, he asked him, hey, could we shoot a dance video here? And the guy was totally cool about it and said, sure, go for it. Not every time you go to a gas station, the owner is going to be there. So there are a couple things that you can do to really up your chances of being able to shoot in such a prime spot like a gas station. And one of those things is to go somewhere where it's just not as populated as a major city like Los Angeles. If we were to do this somewhere on Hollywood Boulevard, chances are they would most likely say no. So this particular dance, they had it choreographed ahead of time before I even got there. Sometimes I do sit in on the choreography and throw in my 2 cents and ideas of how this dance could go down, but they choreographed it before we actually got the set. So they sent me a video ahead of time of the dance, so I had a little bit of an idea of what it was like. But when I get to set, what I really like to do is put the camera away, and I will watch the dance and the performance with my own eyes. And what this allows me to do is I get to experience the dance, and I can see sort of like what the intro parts of the dance are, what the middle section is, and what the ending is. And then as I'm watching it, I plan in my head, okay, this is what I can do for the beginning. I'll get some stuff like this in the middle, and then I'll get some things like this for the ending. But before we got to the actual dancing part, we did the opening scene, which was her walking from the convenience store to her car. And now what was great about this was it allowed me to do a couple of things. One, it allowed me to just warm up, to walk backwards, get my gimbal hands ready and get steady, and it allowed her to kind of get into the groove of things, find her character, figure out, you know, the rhythm of things, feel the music a little bit. One of the really important things is it allowed me to show and step into the leadership role of a director. So as a director, you know, the best thing that you can do is be a good leader and to be a decisive director. Literally probably the best quality to have as a director is to be decisive. You got to go in there with a plan, know what you want and how you're going to do it. Doesn't mean that you know everything, but it means that you at least have a plan and you can answer questions. And so what this does for the talent is it allows them to feel comfortable. They know, like, okay, this guy is very clear, he's decisive and he's direct, and he knows what he wants, and therefore it allows them to not have to worry about, okay, what's going on with the production? Does this guy have his shit together? Because if you don't have your shit together, then they're gonna start worrying about that and their performance is gonna suffer.
Action.
Good, that was great. Then I broke down the very first part where she comes from her car to the main stage. And by doing this, then it allowed me to see with my own eyes, like she's doing this spin move here. I'm like, you know what? It'd be really fun to just do like this sort of a wraparound move with the camera so I can do a couple of different things. One, I can, with that single shot, show the entire space of the area where they're going to be dancing. You can see where Jowaan is, you can see the size and the scale of the gasoline stand. And then two, it allows us to actually feel the motion that she's going through. Since she's spinning and we're spinning, you kind of get sucked in and pulled in and are now part of the dance. Now, doing the spin move took a couple of tries to really nail the timing of where I would end up and on her spin, because I wanted to make sure I got around in time so I could catch her face as it kind of swung around towards Jowaan. When you introduce a dancer, when you introduce a character, you really want that shot to have some impact. And I thought, you know, coming up quick, going around her, and boom, like wow, it's a very dynamic and exciting shot. It got me excited, got them excited, and hopefully it gets the viewer excited, because I want you guys to be sucked into the video and stick with it to the very end. One of the challenges that I had was the overhead lights were causing quite a bit of flare. So that then, you know, I had to give them the direction of, okay, you guys are gonna have to move back a little bit so I can cut out some of that flare. I timed the gimbal, the positioning of the gimbal and the height of the gimbal to then match with the way the light flared, so it almost feel like it was intentional instead of getting in the way. Now, midway through the shoot, I went all the way back and got a really nice wide shot of them dancing together. And I love these types of large establishing shots because you can really get a sense of the scale. And what we had done here was that there were other customers in the lot, but we waited, you know, I made it a point to wait until all the other cars were gone before we shot that, because I was like, if we can give the illusion that it's only us at this gasoline station, it's gonna look so much better and it's gonna really look like we own this space. And if you want to make your work look like it's a lot more expensive than it does, then giving the illusion that you own a certain space is really key, and that's what we did. So you go wide, the only thing you see is them, those two cars and those two dancers, and it's like, wow, we had this thing reserved to ourselves, and it makes it look that much more expensive. So that's pretty much how we did this one. Again, to get these types of gimbal moves, it does require a lot of practice. I mean, I've done so many of these now that it really is, they're dancing, but I'm also dancing as well. Dancing with the camera, because you have to be spinning around in that tighter area so you don't bump into things, so I wouldn't trip over the curb. You really have to kind of be looking out of your peripheral vision while looking at the monitor at the same time. So you do it enough times and you get really, really good at it. So if you happen to be a dancer and want me to make a dance video for you, well, you can hit me up on my website, which is dream19.com. You can leave a comment or message me here on YouTube. Or if you're a small business or a band or anybody else who wants a commercial or a music video done, you can also reach me on my website, which is dream19.com. Under the Hire Me tab, just send me a message and I'll get back to you within 48 hours. Keep dreaming, and we'll see you next time.